When you wake up, what is the first thing you do? It's probably check your phone. And then throughout your day, what is it you do? Probably check your phone. And what do you do just before you go to sleep? Probably check your phone. This is a clear problem. And I would argue it's a health problem. Because being healthy is not about looks or eating vegetables. It's about being able to perform at your best on demand. And one of the biggest obstacles that people face is being addicted to their phone. This is causing worldwide issues of increases in anxiety, depression, and shortened attention spans. But it's not your fault. And it's not even your phone's fault. It's the apps within your phone that causes this addiction, compounded with a lack of clear boundaries. And in this video, I'm going to give you back agency of your attention by breaking your phone addiction once and for all. Hi, my name is Alex Demerel and I help high performers find their zone by optimizing their health. Now, to tackle your phone addiction, you first need to have a system, a tried and tested system that's going to help govern your use of your phone and start taking back your attention and ultimately live your day with more intent with the things that you care about, whether that's pushing the needle forward in your business or personal matters. To do this, we first need to understand why we are so hopelessly addicted to our phones, identify those addictive aspects, and then eliminate or adjust as necessary, and ultimately use what I'm going to give you by the end of this video, 5 proven parameters that I use for myself and I help teach my clients so that they can start living their days with more intent and they are using their phones aren't using them. So firstly, why are we so hooked to our phones? Why do we feel that desperate need to check our phones every half an hour or hour or so? Number one, the neurotransmitter dopamine. That is responsible for motivating you to act out any behavior. Now, you can define certain behaviors as habits. A habit is something that you do automatically, something that you do because you have ingrained this into your brain using what James Clear has used in his book, Atomic Habits: Cue, Craving, Response, Reward. All habits are built upon that, and all habits can be broken and remade using that formula. So if we first understand how habit is formed, we can then begin to break that habit. So cue. Cue is the sight, the smell, the taste, the behavior, whatever it is that cues your body or cues your mind to act out that habit. In this case, reaching for your phone. Craving is your body or brain's response to that cue. Most typically, it's a release of dopamine in anticipation for a reward. Response is your brain or body's response to that craving. So most typically that could be a slight increase in heart rate. That could be your mind starts to race and starts to think, what is behind that notification? What is behind that new YouTube video? What is on Instagram, on these super addictive apps? So then response for most people is to pick up the phone. And lastly is the reward. The reward is the video itself. The reward is finding out what's behind that notification. That releases, again, a little bit of dopamine of completing that behavior or habit. And thus, of completion of that habit, you further ingrain the neural pathways associated with that habit. And this is why it can be so difficult to break a habit. And you've probably noticed when you use your phone, it's in instances when things become difficult, unclear, and you want to procrastinate because it's a source of comfort. It's a source of instant gratification. And you're going to deviate to that when things become difficult or unclear, or you don't want to feel a certain emotion, because you can distract yourself with virtually anything you want. So why would you not? You can't really blame your brain for doing that. So don't blame your brain. Blame what I'm about to tell you, which is your parameters or your lack of boundaries around your phone. Now, just to summarize what makes it so addictive, I would label it into 3 things. FOMO, fear of missing out. You feel like you need to watch a video. You feel like you need to message someone. You feel like you're missing out on something. But often in the case that you'll probably find, you very rarely are. The other aspect is the unknown. What could you find out there? What could you watch on the internet, on YouTube? The unknown makes you want to seek out more. It's curiosity. But again, if you don't govern this stuff, it's going to control you. And the last addictive aspect of your phone is just how instantly gratifying using these apps can be. Like I said, you have a plethora of information. You can find whatever you want. You can have games, you can have funny videos, you can watch memes, you can read any article you wish to. Is it any wonder that you're hopelessly addicted to this stuff? Why would you want to sit down and do the difficult task when you have access to everything in the palm of your hand. So what you need to do is create parameters, and I'm going to give you 5 of them that you can use straight away. These parameters have been designed to create friction so that you can remove, most importantly, the cue. Remember cue, craving, response, reward? Cue is the first step. If you remove that step, then of course the subsequent steps can't be done. So you need to add friction into your day and into using your phone. How do we do that? You can start by using perimeter 1, which is remove the cue. The cue would be having your phone most commonly in sight. Like most people, you probably wake up and check your notifications. So whenever you're doing deep work in the office or whatever the case may be, have your phone furthest away from you in a room and turn it off. You're creating 2 friction points there. Number 1, you actually have to physically get out of your office or wherever you are, walk out, grab your phone. The other friction point is turning on your phone. Now, hopefully by that time, that would allow you enough gap between the stimuli and response for you to make the correct choice. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, Alex, I have to use my phone for work. If that's the case, get a boring old iPhone. I have done that for my work, and I only have work-related apps on that. Parameter 2, kill the craving. So throughout your day, you're naturally going to have that urge to reenact that habit, even though the cue has removed. So you'll have a craving to want to go on your phone maybe at lunchtime, whenever you've done a bit of deep work. Now what you want to realize is your craving for your phone is going to be at its highest in the beginning processes of trying to govern your phone. So you have to be really strong here and trust the process. So what I like to do and what I suggest you to do is to not go on your phone until at least midday, and only on the basis that you've completed at least 2 hours of deep work. Now some of you might say, I use my phone to wake up. You should not be doing that anyway. You should be using either a digital alarm or a combination of a digital alarm if you really need to get up, and a light alarm so that you can wake up most naturally. Because if you have your phone as an alarm, like most people, you're going to go on your phone in the morning. It's just going to happen. It's a natural reaction. Parameter 3, change the response. So the response would typically be to reach for your phone, but hopefully by following parameter 1 and 2, it's going to be much more difficult to do so. And parameter 3 is going to be reinforced by planning your day the night before. If you have a plan, you're much less likely to deviate to habits or procrastinate. So if you're planning your day out the night before and you're not going on your phone to midday, it becomes much easier to complete these tasks, and you have to negotiate with yourself here and say, look, I'm not going to go on my phone, it's turned off in another room, I have my task out in front of me, I've just got to do these till midday, and then we've made it. And the more you do that, the more you start to break that habit or to break that link between your phone. Parameter 4, lessen the reward. So when you do inevitably go on your phone at some point during the day, hopefully this will be in the afternoon, and hopefully not too much, you want to add in friction again by making it so that the apps that you tend to go on that are highly addictive, make them or tuck them away, far away in folders and all the way to the right of your phone. Make it so that you have to press several buttons to get into the app. It's kind of like online marketing. You want the customer to have as least friction as possible to making a purchase. The less clicks they have to do, the more likely they are to complete the purchase. And it's the same with your phone. Make it so that you have to jump through a bunch of hoops to actually get on the app. Now on top of that, you want to install app blockers so that when you do go on your app, it actually gives you a wall of friction or just stops you right in your track and says to you, look, do you really want to use this right now? Do you really want to unlock this app? There's a good app called OneSec, which allows you to take that time between the gap between stimuli and response and broadens it so you can make the right choice. And parameter 5, the last parameter, perform a Sunday detox. You've got to realize you're trying to unbreak a habit that's been ingrained for years. And you'll notice that the connection is strongest when you're first trying to break this habit, like anything. So the best way I like to go about things and actually advise my clients to do so is to just go straight into the deep end and pick a Sunday, because Sunday is when people usually chill out, and try to spend this time more intently with your partner, with your friends, or make plans. And whatever you do, do not go on your phone. It will be difficult, but anything worth having is not going to be easy. But I promise you, if you persevere with that Sunday detox, you'll find that it's much easier to focus the following Monday, especially if you keep in your other parameters of no phone before midday. So those are the 5 parameters that I use. It's remove the cue, kill the craving, change the response, lessen the reward, and perform a Sunday detox. You do them consistently enough, and when times inevitably get worse and you start to revert back to your old habits, you will eventually start to govern time on your phone and actually start to spend time more intently. And I've spoken to clients who are very successful entrepreneurs, and even they have a hard time trying to stick to the difficult task and not revert to their phone usage. So you're not alone, and this problem is rife on every level. And a last final bonus tip to make you reinforce breaking your phone addiction: install your screen time as a widget on your phone. That way, when you open your phone, you should have Todoist, which you should have if you watched my simple but effective productivity system, which you can watch here. And you should also now have a widget of your screen time. This is going to reinforce and remind you why you're doing what you're doing, and it's going to help keep you accountable. If your screen time's, I would say, over 3 hours plus on average, that's a problem. And that's time wasted that could be spent on the business, on things that you actually care about. So over the years of learning about this stuff and trying it myself, that's the best formula I have found to minimizing my phone usage and me actually using my personal phone with intent. Because remember, attention is the latest commodity. You need to be guarding yours, because these smartest psychologists in Silicon Valley are trying to grab yours. They don't care about your goals and aspirations and your business. They care about your attention being on their platform. So you need to govern this, and govern it using that 5-step or 5 parameters, and you'll start to take back your attention.